saying Infiniti Q50 Red Sport 400 out loud makes us giggle. It's a new Infiniti with the name of a NASCAR race. And if there exists an Infiniti dealer with a sense of humor, a gritty-voiced Sunday ad must be in the works. This starts as an engine story. Late in the 2016 model year, Infiniti replaced the Q50's aging 328 horsepower VQ Series V6 with a new twin-turbocharged 3.0-liter V6. The so-called VR30 comes in two strengths, 300 horses for the entry model and 400 for the Red Sport. The two versions are fundamentally identical and share the same block, heads, and turbochargers. Along with higher capacity intercoolers, the 400 horsepower unit's turbochargers spin at up to 220,000 revolutions per minute, a speed Infiniti says is the fastest of any production V6. They push 14.7 pounds per square inch of boost. The 400 horsepower engine is plenty strong, getting the Q50 to 60 miles per hour in 4.5 seconds. Quicker than a BMW 340i and a Cadillac ATS F Sport and matching the last Mercedes-Benz C450 AMG Sport, now replaced by the C43, we tested. This VR engine is loosely related to the old 3.7-liter VQ, which justly earned a reputation for harshness across its rev range. The new VR still lacks smoothness, but only near its 7,000 revolution per minute redline. At low RPM, the engine gives an excellent impression of a velvety inline-six, and turbo lag is virtually non-existent. With an EPA combined fuel economy rating of 22 miles per gallon, which also happens to be what we averaged, the 400 beats the old VQ's mark of 21 by just 1 mile per gallon. Our curiosity with Infiniti's Direct Adaptive Steering, DAS, what the carmaker calls its steer-by-wire system, continues into the second-generation version found here. It adds $1,000 to the Red Sport 400's $48,855 base price. Under normal circumstances, there is no physical connection between the steering wheel and the steering rack. It made disconnected steering a literal term when it launched in 2014. About 15% of Q50 buyers opt for DAS, and Infiniti says most actually like it. Steer-by-wire gives Infiniti engineers a blank sheet when it comes to tuning. From the center stack menu, one can set steering ratio and effort to one of three modes, Standard, Sport, or Sport Plus. While in Sport or Sport Plus, one can also alter the steering response, or how the steering reacts just off-center, using one of three submodes, Default, Dynamic, or Dynamic Plus, giving the driver 7 discrete steering behavior choices. And though the big menu means there's probably something for most behind the Q50's wheel, we found perfection elusive. Standard mode is numb, the electronics filtering out all the wheel kickback you'd expect from, say, a pothole. We found Sport Plus with the response set to default to do the best impression of a conventional, albeit heavily weighted, electrically assisted steering system. Feedback to the driver remains limited, but there is a smooth transition from on-center to turning, unlike in Dynamic or Dynamic Plus, which makes the steering darty. And in all modes there is still a disconnect between lateral loading and steering effort, particularly at the limit. Where a normal car steering goes light, this tiller's resistance holds firm. That said, DAS 2.0 is a major improvement over the original. On the skid pad, the Q50 posted 0.88 grams. Its steering effort builds quickly and never diminishes, leaving a driver's butt to detect understeer before the car pushes offline. While the engine delivers, the steering system is still at least a generation away from appeasing real driving enthusiasts. Perhaps that is why Infiniti makes it a standalone option. Plus, the ability to control so many aspects of the steering system gives DAS an advantage in the current foot race to autonomy, an effort that's generating nearly as much hot air as Infiniti's new turbos.
2017 Lexus IS350 F Sport RWD. Automakers mimic each other. It's one of the reasons for the character-sapping convergence among modern cars that we often lament. Take, for example, the entry luxury sports sedan segment, where nearly every automaker has fully turbocharged engine lineups and complicated electronic adjustments for practically every vehicle parameter from the suspension to the transmission. And then there's the Lexus IS350 F Sport. It, too, has an adaptive suspension and adjustable driving modes, but the steering, suspension, and powertrain cannot be individually adjusted as in the BMW 3 Series or the Audi A4. You get 4 choices, including one good default normal setting. The V6-powered IS350 F Sport isn't turbocharged like BMW's 340i or Audi's S4. And at $50,154 fully loaded, this range-topping, sportiest is maxes out at approximately where pricing for the 6-cylinder 3 Series starts. Nearer to 3. The Lexus isn't above mimicry, as it clearly bogies the 3 Series, but it's the E90 Generation 3 Series that went out of production in 2011. That's good, because from a driving standpoint we still view that car more fondly than we do today's F33 Series. When this IS350 F Sport first appeared in 2013, it beat the current Gen 3 Series in our sports sedan comparison test. 4 years later, the IS350 F Sport has undergone a mild refresh and gained standard active safety features such as adaptive cruise control and lane departure warning, but has lost none of its charm. Careful tuning lends the IS350 F Sport impressive range, from quiet and smooth and, well, Lexus-like, to quick-witted and screwed down. Yet it doesn't feel like different cars at each extreme. This used to be the hallmark of BMW sedans, which could change demeanor from junior executive commuters to backroad ballerinas as the driver's mood dictated. Today, the 3 Series is bipolar, ranging from the too soft comfort driving mode to an overly stiff ride and hair-trigger throttle in Sport Plus. The steering could return more feedback, too, and a little extra crispness from the 8-speed automatic and brake pedal wouldn't hurt. Still, it all fits the comfort-minded Lexus thread throughout the IS350, stitching together the suspension's buttery bump compliance, the transmission's creamy upshifts, and the radio knob's hydraulic resistance to form a consistent, rounded-edge flavor. It tastes and smells like a Lexus, albeit one with quick steering guiding a balanced chassis. Track trials. Nonetheless, the less powerful BMW 330i wipes the floor with ease at the track. Despite having 306 horsepower and 277 pounds-to-foot of torque to the Bimmer's 248 ponies and 258 pounds-to-foot, the roughly 200 pounds heavier Lexus trails the 330i to 60 miles per hour by 0.6 seconds. The 6-cylinder, 320 horsepower 340i does the deed 1.2 seconds quicker still. This Lexus recorded a weakish 0.84 grams on our skid pad, although that was enough to give it a 0.01 gram edge over the last 330i we tested. On spicier tires, the 3 Series has nuzzled close to the 1.0 gram mark, an achievement no IS350 we've tested has approached. Lexus could toss a turbocharger or two under the IS350's hood, slap on some gummier summer tires, and ratchet the suspension to full spank Z driver German stiffness levels and post better numbers. It could, but it shouldn't. That's what a full-blown F model like the 467 horsepower RCF is for. Instead, Lexus should throw some effort behind updating the IS's infotainment control interface. The on-screen buttons are scattered about, intended to be selected computer mouse style using a console-mounted joystick. This is hard to do in a moving car, or even in a stationary one. List-like menus and a rotary knob resembling BMW's or Audi's would be far less distracting. Another sin? That the rest of the IS range, and, frankly, Lexus's other sedans save for the similarly sweet GSF, don't have anywhere near this IS350 F Sport's mojo. For all the cohesiveness of this specific trim level with this specific engine and rear-wheel drive, the IS lineup is rather inconsistent. The 4-cylinder IS200T, non-F Sport IS350, and lesser V6-powered IS300 can't compare. Say what you will about modern 3 Series' scatterbrained, multimodal, or wonky chassis setups, at least they're all like that. Imagine the entire IS family mimicking the IS350 F Sport's mix of everyday livability and sportiness. Now that would be something worth copying.